Let's have a look at special angles. Remember, with your special angles, it allows you to do a simplification or a proof, etc., without the use of a calculator. Now, I know that you can use a calculator to check. Just remember that it's in radians. However, when you do your NBTs next year, you won't be able to use a calculator. So the skills you learn without a calculator are very important. Let's just have a look at this diagram which we saw in a previous video. What I've done is I've just inserted our special angles into the diagram. Now up to this point in core maths, your special angles have been in degrees. It's very important now to actually make the mind shift into radians, to not actually have to do a conversion every single time, but to learn where the radians lie on the Cartesian plane. So let's start here on our x-axis, that's 0 radians. Go up to our first special angle, which will be pi over 6. Now that would have been your 30 degrees, pi over 6. What can help you is to remember that pi is 180. So if I divide it into 6 parts, I've got my 30 degrees, or pi over 6. Pi over 4 is dividing that portion of your circle, which is 180 degrees, into 4 parts. In degrees, it's 45 degrees, but in radians, it's pi over 4. Then what would have been our 60 degrees is pi over 3. So our special angles so far are pi over 6, pi over 4, and pi over 3. And 0 as well. Now let's have a look. What would have been our 90 degrees is pi over 2. What would have been our 180 is pi. What would have been our 270 is 3 pi over 2. And I'll refer back to this diagram later when we're doing an example. In core maths, you have quite a few different ways to remember your special angles. You can remember them in a triangle. Some of you, if you have a tutor, may have seen it as a fan. Those are the values on the Cartesian plane. Or you've learnt it as a table, and I'm going to have a look at the table. Now, the table helps you to summarize the different x, y, and r values. So let's fill in here. We've got x, y, and r. And then let's fill in our different angles. I'm not going to fill in 30, 45, and 60. I'm going to fill in pi over 6, pi over 4, and pi over 3. Okay, now let's go and have a look at what we fill in here. We're going to go 3, 2, 1. Remember to fill in all your roots. I don't put a root over 1 because root 1 is 1. Then I go 1, 2, 3. Fill in your roots. And then my radius is always just going to be 2, 2, 2. So that's the summary of our special angles for pi over 6, pi over 4, and pi over 3. Now to remember the angles that lie outside of that, of a right angle triangle, for example, we are going to have a look at, let's put it in here, we're going to have a look at 0 and 2 pi. Then we're going to have a look at pi over 2. We're going to have a look at pi. And then lastly, we're going to have a look at 3 pi over 2. These are easy to remember on a unit circle. Now, a unit circle is a circle that has a radius of 1. If you're struggling to understand this idea of the unit circle, look back at the original video for the beginning of lesson 2, which is that Khan Academy video on the unit circle. Now, if this circle has a radius of 2, and I want the coordinates of that point, it will have an x value of 1, but a y value of 0. This point there will have an x value of 0 because it's on the y-axis, but a y value of 1. That point there, the distance between the origin and that point is 1, but it's on the negative side of the x-axis, so it has an x value of negative 1 and a y value of 0. And that point right there is on the negative side of the y-axis, so it has an x value of 0 and a y value of negative 1. Now that'll help us to find the special angles that relate, well, the trig ratios that relate to these special angles that lie on the x and the y axes. So this will, in each case, for example, the first one will give you the x value of 1, the y value of 0, and our r value, so we can fill that in, is 1 the whole way around.